Hey guys, V here, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to transfer your current PC into a whole new case. So we're going to take the parts out of that PC there and put it into this PC here, or in this PC case here. So I got the Lian 011 Dynamic. I saw this a lot on Instagram and other YouTube channels and I really liked it. While I'm at it, I also found these new fans. I've never tried them, I've never had them, so I figured why not throw those in here. And there's a lot more area for more fans. I think I can fit 9 fans in here versus 6 in there. Those fans are great for the RGBs, but they don't provide any type of speed control. So with that being said, I wanted to get something with speed control and more RGB control. These fans do have like a ring around that lights up, and the fan itself lights up. So more RGBs for me, more FPS. Anyways, with all that being said, let's go ahead and transfer this, and I'll show you step by step what you need to do, how to do it. Let's go. Alright, so the first thing you're going to want to do is turn off your power supply. And if your power supply doesn't have that, then go ahead and unplug it. Once you power it down, unplug it, and then unplug everything from here. Then what you want to do is go ahead and give your power button a couple presses and press and hold it just to discharge any electricity that was going through this. Now that that's done, let's get this out of the way for a minute. And let's go ahead and unbox the Dynamic. Alright, now what you want to do is get your case, whatever that case may be. It might not be the same one I'm using, but go ahead and get your case ready. So strip it down, get all the panels off of it, and then we can start disassembling our other PC. I always recommend putting the glass and maybe some panels back in the box so you don't damage anything. Now that you got your new case stripped and disassembled, get that out of the way and bring in your PC. Now, before you disassemble anything on your PC, especially if you're new to this, what I recommend doing is taking lots of detailed pictures of each section of your PC and keep those pictures as reference. If you don't know maybe where each fan plugs in or whatever, then you have a reference guide. So I highly recommend taking pictures, close-ups, all around before you disassemble this. Now the first thing I'm gonna do is the same thing I did with the other case, is go ahead and disassemble it. I'm just gonna take the back off. I don't need the front off because I'm not transferring the fans. However, if you are transferring your fans, then go ahead and disassemble the whole thing. So take the back cover off and look at that cable management. Ooh-wee. Alright, let's move on. So flip this back around, and the first thing we're going to start to do is the GPU. So first things first, we're going to go ahead and unplug the GPU cable. That's unplugged. Now we're going to remove the GPU. Alright, now there's a little tab. I'm going to try to show you this best I can. There's a little tab back there, right there to be exact, that you have to push in to get the GPU out. My hands wouldn't fit back there, so I just used the screwdriver just to push it in. Just be careful doing this so you don't hit anything else. Now we got the GPU out, set that to the side, and now we're just going to go ahead and start unplugging everything. Just a quick note, If your computer is over a year old, I highly suggest you reapply your thermal paste on your processor. This would be a good time because you got everything taken apart, so why not? Alright, now that you unplugged everything, what you're going to want to do is start to unscrew the motherboard from the chassis. If you have your PC in the upright position, I highly suggest you end up putting it down like you see here, just so nothing falls, nothing, breaks. Alright, once you got all of the screws loosened up, all the cables unplugged, everything's ready, get your case, your new case, ready to go, and set it next to it. We're just going to transfer the whole motherboard, take it up. If there's any resistance, don't try to do anything too hard, and go ahead and set it in there. Alright, now that you got your motherboard in the new case, go ahead and line it up. Do what you got to do. That's lined up. And remember the little box we took out of the new case. It was just a little white box. Sometimes it's in a baggie, sometimes it's something else. That's where your new motherboard screws would be. A lot of times the motherboard screws from another case won't fit. They won't be the same. So you need to get the proper ones. A lot of times with these Lian cases, and maybe some other ones, you'll get these little risers. That's for the motherboard, extra ones in case you need them. What I like to do is take a riser and then test a couple of the smaller screws to figure out which ones are for the motherboard. So I found one that fits. It's a really tiny one. I think it's the smallest one they have. And just thread it in. Make sure there's no resistance, and sure enough, those are the motherboard screws. So now I know what to look for, and I can just pick all of them out. And now, do some final adjustments, and go ahead and start screwing it in. I'll do like a corner first, not even all the way tight, and then I'll look at the opposite corner all the way over there, and I will then adjust it as needed, and that looks good. And that's all of them. So now the motherboard is done, we can move on to moving everything else. Alright, the next thing you're going to want to do is grab your power supply, get the screws out of the power supply, and these screws you can transfer over, unlike the motherboard screws. One thing to note about this whole process though, you want to make sure that your new case will support the size of your parts. So if you have a really big CPU cooler or a ATX board and you got a mini ATX case, that won't work. If your new case requires a smaller power supply, that also won't work. In this case, I already know everything's going to fit. So just go ahead and take off your parts and transfer them there. If you're transferring your fans, I would highly recommend you take the fans out first. In this case, I'm not transferring the fans, I'm leaving them in this case here. So I'm just going to leave them, but I would highly recommend you get them out of the way, because then you can get all these cables out of the way and it'll be a little bit easier. As you can see with this PC, I had all the cables very well organized. So just go ahead and undo all of your cable ties. Now go ahead and install your power supply unit in your new case. And once you got that installed, go ahead and just start plugging everything in and slowly transfer everything else if you're transferring your fans and stuff like that. Otherwise, just plug everything up, Definitely look at your reference photos that you took in the beginning of the video if you took some reference photos. If not, just enjoy this process. Take your time. Tidy everything up. Install your new case fans if you got them. Any new parts, go ahead and install them. Like I said, take your time. Enjoy the process. For me, it's always relaxing to do this. I don't know why, but that's the whole reason I started this channel. I just really enjoy doing it. So, you know, with that being said, I have fun doing these videos and I hope you guys enjoy them too. Otherwise, the last thing I usually do is plug up the GPU and I am all set. That's the final thing. I know I'm in the final stretch. Plug that baby in and go ahead and, take it for a test drive. Alright, once you got everything finished, plugged in, and you think it's ready, go ahead and grab your power cord, plug it in, switch on your power supply, and boot it up. I plugged in my monitor just in case I get any errors. And everything is good. Now you can put the rest of the case together and you're good to go. Thank you guys for watching. This is V. Peace.